Welcome back to C-Suite. We're playing with our backdrops now. Look at this. We're out in the mountains. We're in the what is this? Antarctica? Oh, my coffee disappeared. I'm not going there if there's no coffee.
Like Placid.
Yeah, I'm not going there if there's no coffee. Look at this. Look at this.
Like we
Yeah.
just
Anyways, yeah. Enjoy viewing as we go, folks. You can follow the journey of our marketing evolution here in our education series. So today we were just talking. We had a few folks who were trying to help today. We were just talking about basic end of life costs, right? Life policies that are just there for like literally the funeral, the basic things that most folks should plan for. Um, and we were talking about like average costs for that, or even bare bones. It's quite a bit in New York State, right?
it is. It's anywhere between 1,500 to 2,500,
Hmm.
and that's just a cremation.
Hmm.
And then that does not include if you want to get, your remains in ground.
Hmm.
That's another cost. That's an opening of the basically the hole.
Yeah, they charge
You
just to
charge
dig,
to dig a hole,
and of course you have to, recover the hole and bury it.
and
So,
then the marker.
yeah, marker, gravestone. Yeah,
Um,
and then the service itself. You want things like, well, most folks want things like flowers or whatever, maybe a bereavement lunch. So it is costly. It's thousands of dollars. On the low end, I mean, it could be 1,500 to 2,500 if you just want to be cremated and just a plot. But we find that the average now in New York State, anyways, easily 5, 7, 10,000. Like that's really the range depending on what folks want. So it's important for you to realize that at the time of need, if there's no plan, no deposit, no account that's already paying for this, that falls on that's the burden of the family, right? So unless you want someone in the family to have to swipe a credit card and figure it out later, that's really something you want to consider putting into a policy, which we can certainly help folks with. But of course, you know,
and it is a burden.
yeah, it is.
It is a burden. A lot of people think that it's not, and it truly is.
And folks that like to try to save money, go, oh, I don't want to have another policy and save money. Well, think about what your family's going to be dealing with. If they don't have the savings at the ready, they're going to not only be purchasing, but probably making emotional purchases, right? So it's very typical that folks that don't have a plan will have a loved ones that go and sit with a funeral director or what have you, and you know, you're upset, you're in mourning. So of course you want the best things that they recommend, right? The best flowers, the best everything. So if I didn't have a plan, I'm sure my sister would want like a full 115 piece orchestra for the music, right? I would get something like that. Maybe some Irish bagpipes.
So you bag
Yeah, Irish
bagpipes for
bagpipes, maybe a
you.
military flyover.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
still,
Absolutely.
don't let them overspend on
Oh,
this.
yes, definitely the military would be all outside. It would be a huge luncheon for him too.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, set the budget ahead of time by having a policy and make your intentions well known. Of course, you'll want to, get your will and things like that in order too. So yeah, we can help with basic policies, but of course, a lot of folks know that they need above and beyond the minimum, right? You want to look at your debts if you have a mortgage. If you have any other type of debts, you're gonna want to consider how that's going to get paid off in your absence. And then, of course, your income if you're working and you have people relying on that income, whether it's a loved one, a child you care for, a spouse, whatever, a parent. If there's a way of life now that you are paying for, not just for your own existence, but the people you care for, think about what happens to them without that income each month, starting the day you pass. The rent, the mortgage, the food, the gas, whatever you have in your account, assuming someone is also on that account and has access to it,
Right,
that's
that's the
another
other
thing.
thing. Yep.
But even assuming that they have their own money and their own job, and you have someone that's an adult and that can make decisions like that right away, do they have enough and do they have access enough to take care of things for the months it will take to settle your affairs, even if you have life insurance?
Mhm.
Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes folks have a life insurance policy with us, and the time of need comes, and the family might find out there's, very little in the checking account. you're going to want that policy to pay pretty quick. So there's a lot of details. There's a lot of things to consider. And I know we're trying to have a little bit of fun with you here and kind of go over it, but this is the reality of what happens every day, every single day, without a plan, without the right policy to fit you and your loved one's needs. This unfortunately turns into a burden and a problem. Whereas by having the right policy, by having the right conversation with Meg or any of us, and really coming up with the best solution for you and your budgets, it does come down to cost. We understand
Yes.
that. But what we're trying to convey to you is that very often by trying to save a little bit of money now, it very often becomes a very, very um, almost almost impossible mathematical challenge for your loved ones if things aren't in place. And if nothing else, they tend to overspend at the time of need when they're sitting with someone at a funeral parlor and looking at the caskets and looking at the stones. And of course, you want the best for your loved ones. And they will overspend. And probably that would be offensive to you. Um, I mean, we've all heard the joke, just put me in a pine box or whatever, a cardboard box. It's a fun joke that people like to say because they don't want to deal with this as a real problem,
Yeah.
or take on the efforts to make a real plan. Why don't you sit down with Meg, give us a call. We're here,
It will simplify it for you.
go through the steps, go through all the details, and you'll actually find, at least in my case, mind you, I've done this a few times. I was in the service as a young fellow, so they force you to do this at kind of a young age. So I've done this so many times now, I'm very comfortable with it. But you actually start to feel better once you start just writing it down and seeing what it looks like. It's like just having a plan. So definitely give us a call. As you know, we're here for you during the week. Give us a call, shoot us an email. Meg or I will give you a ring back, and we'll go over all your needs. So,
Yeah.
what else before we leave the Adirondacks here?
Well, we could just sit out here and hang out.
Yeah.
The lake out
Drink
there.
my coffee. Yeah.
Drink your coffee.
Is there insurance on having a good vacation? We could make this a 10 vacation.
Oh, you're on. Well, yeah, travel insurance.
There you go. We could do that.
Travel
We'll
insurance.
do that in the next video. Yeah. All right, folks. For everything you need, your protection for your selection, give us a call. We're happy to help and serve.
Yeah.
See you on the next one.
See ya.